So this week we're going to start a new topic in math. We're done with line plots and we're going to be moving on to real world problems. Now real world problems is something that we've been focusing on all year, right? It's the why do we do this math? How do we do this math? What is the purpose of this? Why would we need to learn that? And these real world problems are things that would happen in everyday life where math would be required. Okay, sometimes we need to make fractions, sometimes we need to multiply, sometimes we need to divide. It just depends on what we're doing. Okay, and what I like about real world problems is that it shows you why you are learning the things that you're learning. Okay, but in fourth grade, you will find that real world problems, they're not just always going to be single step problems. The one we're going to practice with today is broken up for you, but typically they're all combined together and it's asking multiple questions, or it's asking one question, but you need to do multiple steps to get the answer. So what's super important when you're doing real world problems is that you read carefully. You need to read the question or what they're asking many times. Okay, I cannot read a word problem one time and figure everything out. So it is okay to read it multiple times. Like for instance, for now, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this problem. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to read it. I just want to get a sense of what am I going to be doing. Okay. So Jake, Jesse, and Amanda sold tickets to raise money for charity. Jake sold 125 tickets. Jesse sold 18 times as many tickets as Jake. It's not as. Amanda sold half as many tickets as Jesse. Now, when reading that seems a bit overwhelming, a little daunting. Like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of numbers and a lot of things that they're saying. But if you break it up, it's all manageable, okay? When I go back up into this, and I'm going to read it again now, I'm going to look for important things that I need to know. Jake, Jesse, and Amanda sold tickets to raise money for charity. Great. I do not need to do anything with that. This is just giving me background knowledge as to what they're doing, okay, what these numbers are representing. Jake sold 125 tickets, okay. Jesse sold 18 times as many as Jake, and then Amanda sold half as many as Jesse. So they all sold tickets, and they all sold different amounts of tickets. I imagine we're going to have to figure out how many each person sold. We only know how many Jake sold, okay. And in word problems, it doesn't always say subtract these numbers to find or multiply these, right? There's always clue words. There's clue words that help us to figure out what type of math we're going to need to do. Like, for instance, if it says find the sum, that's addition. If it says how many fewer is something, we know that we subtract. And I'm going to put some clue words on Seesaw for you and also in Google Classroom. So when you're doing these real world problems, you have this kind of like cheat sheet to remind you of what these words mean. They're just like math words, just like we have, science words and social studies words. And well, there's math words, and these would be them to help us figure it out. So number one, there A says, how many tickets did Jesse sell? Well, okay, I know that Jake sold 125 and Jesse sold 18 times as many. Well, it doesn't tell me that I'm going to need to multiply, but because he sold 18 times of it, I'm going to have to do 125 times 18, right? 5 times 8 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 4 is 20. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay, then I got to put Bob here, small Bob. I'm going to cross these guys out so I know that I'm done with them. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. Then I need to add them up, and I'm sorry, I'm going to carry it over here. 0, 5, 2, 2. So what this means is that while Jake sold 125 tickets, right, this is showing Jesse sold times 18 of them. And so that would equal 2,250, right? So how many tickets did Jesse sell? Your answer has to be 2,250 tickets, okay? If you don't use the unit, then your answer would be wrong. So 2,250 tickets. And then what is always important is to circle or to square off, like I did, your answer so that your teacher can find it. Because when you do word problems, there's going to be a lot of work involved. You always have to show your work, especially with these because there's multiple steps. You will notice that when you take tests and things like that, if sometimes we make mistakes and we pick the wrong answer, but the right answer is in our work. And often teachers will be like, oh, he had the right answer, so I'm able to give it to him because I can see it in his work. But if you don't show your work, then they can't do that. Okay, so it's very important that you show your thinking on your paper. So now B says, how many tickets did Amanda sell? Okay, well, so now we need to go back into the story problem. It says Amanda sold half as many tickets as Jessie. All right, well, half. So if I know something is half, in order to get half of it, I just need to divide it by 2. So my math problem for that would be 2,250 divided by 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. Subtract and bring down. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. Subtract and then bring down. 2 goes into 5 twice. 2 times 2 is 4 with a subtraction of 1 and bring down. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. That's my answer. Amanda sold 1,125 tickets. Okay. And then I only have 4% left on my pencil battery, so hopefully I can get through this. But it says, how many tickets did Jessie, Jake, and Amanda sell all together? All together, that's one of the clue words. When we see all together, we know we need to what? Are you thinking add? Exactly. And now we can because we have numbers for everybody. We know that Jake sold 125. We know that Jessie sold 2,250. And we know that Amanda sold 1,125. Now, I'm going to add all these together at once, but typically I just pick 2 and then add those and then add the third one on. It's easier for me. 5 plus 5 is 10 because I don't do anything with the 0. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 2 more is 9, plus 1 more is 10. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus another one is 4, plus 1 more is 5. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So the total tickets sold are 3,500 tickets in all. Okay, so that's how you do these problems. And again, you have to be able to look for those clue words that are going to help you figure out what you need to do. Sometimes you will solve it by doing one step, but then you won't go back to reread it and make sure that you've included everything, and then it's wrong because you didn't do all of the steps that are needed. So today I'm going to send you some practice problems in Seesaw, and I want to see how you figure it out. Okay?